Shalom, family. Sorry about the delay. I had a problem getting on, but it looked like I'm connected just fine now. Some of you might have heard Danny Pantaleo sued to try to get his job back as an NYPD police officer, and he was denied, which rightfully so. I believe if you kill someone unarmed and you're fired, there should be no chance for you to be a police officer anywhere in this country. But we know how America is. He can literally just go a county over and be a cop again. That's how messed up the system is. But you see a lot of these cops trying to get their jobs back after a high profile shooting. And we saw this with Timothy Loman, the one that shot Tamir Rice. He's been for years trying to get another job as a police officer. So don't be surprised if Danny Pantaleo crop up somewhere in New York in a different county as a cop again. He really shouldn't be a cop. He's way too dangerous. I mean, this man lied from the beginning. When he first killed Eric Garner, he denied using a chokehold, despite the fact that you can watch that video and clearly see him doing a chokehold on that man. But he denied it. He denied it for a long time. So, it's the usual thing. The police union think it's a terrible thing. He didn't get his job back, but I don't believe there should be police unions when police officers are supposed to be working locally. So, you work for the government. There should be no unions, but they allow these cops to have a union. And that's the first big major problem to what's going on here. And that qualified immunity. But if we were looking at the real scheme of things, Danny Pantaleo should be in jail. He is a murderer. He's a killer. He shouldn't be free on the streets after killing somebody unarmed. The only place Danny Pantaleo belongs is behind bars. But we don't live in that kind of system. We lived in this twisted white supremacist system where people like Danny Pantaleo can kill you today and go sit around with his family eating dinner by tonight. That's how it's set up. And these folks can't stand punishing each other. That is also a problem in itself. Whenever they get in trouble with the law, they have a big issue with punishing each other. So that's why we always see these lackadaisical outcomes at the end of the day. And we're going to see the same lackadaisical outcome when it comes down to Derek Chauvin. Another one that was a cop, had no business being a cop. He definitely had it in for black men. Some of those men that he arrested and encountered said he was very rough. And when dealing with them, he was very rough and he just, handling the black man as harshly as possible. That's what he would do. And some of the men that I listened to in audio said they thought they were going to die when they were dealing with him. So Derek Chauvin, in my opinion, is just one more man that's jealous of black men. And so he uses that badge to try to get at black men the best that he can, So that trial is going to begin actually this coming Monday. And I believe it will be live streamed. I'm going to try to watch as much of it as possible. But I'm not just looking at the outcome of all previous cases. I can tell you, I'm not optimistic about Derek Chauvin at all. They're going to, if he does get sentenced to jail, it's going to be the lightest sentence known to mankind. It is not going to be the appropriate sentence that he should get. He lynched a black man while being videoed. And no, that should never be taken lightly. But it will be in America. We already know that. All right, so let's get back to Danny Pantaleo. I got a video and then I got an article that I want to show you. So let's get to the video first. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. All right, please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Okay, thank you, family. All right. Okay, hold on here. Get the sound together.
Officer fired in connection to his death. Isn't over. That's the reaction. The fight is.
All right, let's get started again.
Fight isn't over. That's the reaction tonight from Eric Garner's family and attorneys for the officer fired in connection to his death. And this is the end of a painful 5-year saga in New York City, and it marks the beginning of the legal battle by Officer Daniel Pantaleo to win back his pension and his job. And as the Garner family sets their sights on the other officers involved in the deadly arrest, the police union is urging a vote of no confidence in the NYPD commissioner and the mayor.
We brought you the commissioner's decision first as breaking news. Now News 4's Ray Vieta digging deeper into what it means and why this case might not be closed, Ray.
Natalie and David, tonight outside of One Police Plaza, Eric Garner's family said the fight for justice isn't over. While Daniel Pantaleo's termination is effective immediately, his lawyer is vowing an appeal. Eric Garner's mother vowing to fight every step of the way. Singing a song, supporters gathered outside One Police Plaza for this moment.
It's been 5 long years that I have fought this fight.
Today, a victory for Gwen Carr, the mother of Eric Garner. Garner died 5 years ago after a struggle with Officer Daniel Pantaleo. Garner was arrested for selling untaxed cigarettes. Pantaleo today fired for using a chokehold, a violation of NYPD policy.
You may have lost your job, but I lost a son.
The decision made by Police Commissioner James O'Neill after an NYPD trials judge found Pantaleo's explanation of what happened implausible and self-serving. The judge said Pantaleo was untruthful when he told investigators he did not use a chokehold and recommended he be fired.
In this case, the unintended consequence of Mr. Garner's death must have a consequence of its own. Therefore, I agree with the Deputy Commissioner of Trials' legal findings and recommendations. It is clear that Daniel Pantaleo can no longer effectively serve as a New York City police officer.
The mayor declaring justice served.
Today, we saw the NYPD's own disciplinary process act fairly and impartially.
Pantaleo's attorney and the police union immediately voicing outrage, saying that the commissioner bowed to public pressure.
This mayor needs to be removed. The police commissioner needs to know he's lost his police department.
Pantaleo's camp vowing an appeal. Garner's mother vowing to fight that and calling for more officers, the ones there that day, to lose their jobs too.
Show the pictures, say the names, do the roll call, because they all need to lose their jobs. New York is not safe with officers out here like that.
Garner's family also wants the criminal case against Pantaleo reopened, along with those officers that were there on the scene that day in Staten Island to face police discipline. We're live in Lower Manhattan tonight. I'm Ray Vieta, News 4, New York.
All right, Ray, thank you. Commissioner O'Neill, who rose from the ranks of beat cop to commissioner over some 35 years, says it was a difficult decision to fire Pantaleo, but the police union believes politics played a role.
All right, so you heard that. And I agree. He should have lost his job, you know, but Daniel Pantaleo really, truly deserves to be jailed. I mean, think about this. If he got a job somewhere else, who would be comfortable with him getting out the car, you know, and coming on the scene of a crime? I don't think anybody would be comfortable with that, you know? And I mean, what a scumbag after killing, you know, Eric Garner, you know, and I think Eric Garner's killing is equivalent to George Floyd, because it was done right on video. And then what they never showed on TV, ladies and gentlemen, after he got finished choking and killing Eric Garner, he got up and jumped around like you see a football player scoring a touchdown. It was absolutely sick what Danny Pantaleo did, and inexcusable. And no, he's lucky he's free. So ultimately what happened, it was a decision that he could not get his police job back. And what he's really up in arms about, y'all, he lost his pension. So he is not entitled to his NYPD pension. And that's what's killing him. Okay, that's what he's really upset about. And he shouldn't get anything. Like I said, the man belongs in jail. And if, there's too many Daniel Pantaleos on these police forces, if you really want to know my opinion about the whole thing, it's too many like him that exist, and they're allowed to exist. But I'm glad that the court upheld the firing of Daniel Pantaleo and made him accountable for the death of Eric Garner. So let me just go ahead and read the article that's attached to the NBC4 New York video that you just watched. The Court of Appeals argued from Daniel Pantaleo's attorney the termination that was excessive punishment. Now, one thing they said in that video I did not like, they said that he was selling cigarettes. He wasn't. He broke up a fight. They said he was never standing there at the time when he was killed selling any kind of loosies. But I noticed the reporters did say that in the video, and that's incorrect. Okay. So I don't know why he is so shocked that he can't get his job back, but Danny Pantaleo apparently is. Okay, a state of appeals court on Thursday upheld the New York Police Department decision to fire officer for the 2014 chokehold death of Eric Garner. A 5-judge panel of the state Supreme Court Appellate Division ruled that there was substantial evidence showing that Daniel Pantaleo acted recklessly and that firing him was an appropriate outcome. Pantaleo went to court to seek to be reinstated after then Police Commissioner James O'Neill fired him in August 2019 following a department disciplinary trial. Now, you just think about that. He was killed in 2014 and they didn't get around to firing him until 2019. Okay, that in itself is a problem. You took that long to fire him? So you've been paying him a salary and keeping him on staff from 2014 when Eric Garner was killed to 2019. That alone is messed up. His attorney argued that termination was excessive punishment and that was shocking to one's sense of fairness. So his attorney is pretty much saying it was unfair to fire him. No, it's unfair that he's not in jail. The appellate panel rejected that, writing that there was substantial evidence to support the conclusion that Pantaleo recklessly caused injury to Eric Garner by maintaining a prohibited chokehold for 9 to 10 seconds. Just killed that man. Messages seeking comment were left with Pantaleo's lawyer and with a spokesperson for the NYPD. The head of the city's police department watchdog agency, the Civilian Complaint Review Board, commended the appeals court for upholding Pantaleo's firing. Daniel Pantaleo should never be able to patrol the New York City streets again. And now New Yorkers can rest assured he won't. CCRB chairperson Fred Davey said Pantaleo was stripped of his gun and put on desk duty after Garner's July 2014 death, but continued to draw a salary with pay peaking at more than $120,000 a year in 2017. Listen to this ridiculous salary this killer was getting. A grand jury declined to bring criminal charges. Yes, and we know that happened. And that's why he's not in jail, because they would not bring criminal charges against Pantaleo when they really should have. And the NYPD held off starting an internal disciplinary process for several years. So even after they killed, Pantaleo killed Eric Garner, they waited several years before even bringing up any type of legal process against Danny Pantaleo. So clearly protecting a cop, you know, what we always see. Okay. Let me go back. So they held off on starting internal disciplinary actions against Pantaleo for several years, with officials saying they did not want to interfere with the federal civil rights investigation that ultimately yield no charges, which we knew, you know, they wanted the DOJ to get involved. The DOJ, at the end of the day, they ain't shit. They're not. You know, we have seen them push back on multiple cases where, you know, we wanted more harsher charges on the cop, and the DOJ would just push everything back and not do anything. And they did the same thing in the case of Eric Garner. So at the end of the day, the DOJ ain't crap in America. Okay. Bystander video showed Pantaleo, who is white, wrap his arms around the neck of Eric Garner, who was black, as they struggled against a glass front window and fell to the Staten Island sidewalk, which should not have happened. He was not a threat to those cops at all. Officers were trying to arrest Garner for selling Lucy's untaxed cigarettes, which he was not selling. Even people around said he broke up a fight. Garner's dying gasp, "I can't breathe," became a rally cry among police reform activists. Those words drew renewal attention last May after George Floyd echoed them as a Minneapolis police officer pressed a knee on his neck that led to his death. So the worst thing that happened to Danny Pantaleo for killing a black man is losing his job and his pension. Well, you know, he gets to live another day to be with his family. And Danny Pantaleo can easily go out and get another job. He's young enough to get another job and stay on that job for years, where Eric Garner is in a graveyard and he will never get to do those things for his family. But these cops always want you to believe, and these unions, these police unions want you to believe they're getting the raw deal, which is downright laughable. You know, and we're just, every year we're just seeing the same thing over and over. Thank you, Gregory Hawk, for the super chat. We just keep seeing the same thing over and over, y'all, with these cops killing unarmed black men, women, and children. And 2021 is not going to disappoint. They'll be out there doing it again. It is just ridiculous. But as far as I'm concerned, Danny Pantaleo got off easy. He just lost a job and a pension. So at the end of the day, he's still a free man. He still can be with his family. You know, it's disgusting how we get treated up in this country. And then they want to know why we feel the way that we do. But, you know, what do you expect from a rigged up system? America is heavily rigged. And we know this. We have known this for many centuries, that they got the system rigged up against us. It's not what we're doing. It's not what we're saying. It's not that we're committing all these crimes. They got the system rigged. End of story. That's it. you know, but when it's us, because they have such a deep hatred for us, they like to over exaggerate and go overboard in trying to say we're causing this stuff. We have never caused this stuff from the beginning. Racism came from white people. The laws in this land came from white people. The laws being lopsided in their favor and not in ours, all the creation of white people. So I don't want to hear anything else from them. That's why when they come to me, well, this person committed a crime, I just dismiss all of that. You know that your system is set up to work against us. And that being said, don't come over here preaching to me about nothing. So as long as you don't fix the system, don't come over to me bitching about a damn thing about what Black people do, because it's going to fall upon deaf ears, plain and simple. You don't get to rig up a system and then come wag your finger up in somebody's face. I don't think so. So everybody, I did not want to make this a long one, but we'll definitely be doing this again. You know, I'm going to set up a little survey and I'll let you decide. Now, you know, some people do like the live streams and some want me to do more. So, you know, I could set it up where I can do maybe 2 videos and then 2 on live stream. So I'll just set up a little poll and you just decide how you want it. And, you know, I can easily make those adjustments if they're necessary. So everybody, please enjoy the rest of your day. I really enjoy all of our time together. And, you know, we'll certainly be doing this again very soon. Shalom, family.